Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story of the day is regarding YouTube censoring the truth about radical transgender ideology, and we're going to give y'all the details. Before we jump into anything, support a true American patriot by hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave us a short, sweet comment down below. The question of the day is, do you think big tech, the progressive left, the Democrat Party are going to start going after and censoring conservatives and Republicans more? That 2024 is just right around the corner? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, in the description, check out baldbread.com. We got a website, folks. We sell signed copies of the book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is a Chore in America. We got merchandise. We got coffee mugs for you all with the logo and the American flag on the back, folks. In the description below, go ahead and check that out. Well, the Daily Wire co-CEO Jeremy Boring called out YouTube in a Twitter thread on Sunday, revealing a series of violations levied against his company's shows that he cast as a betrayal of the video's platform's commitment to, get this, open debate. YouTube doesn't want open debate. They say they will, but the debate that they want to have is narratives that go along with their narrative. We'll get to that in just one moment. In just the last 90 days, Boring said accounts associated with the Daily Wire have received 104 violations for, get this, hateful and derogatory content. In other words, anything YouTube deems to go against their narrative, that's going to be hateful and derogatory. Hateful is purely subjective. I mean, there's some things that we can all come around that's hateful, things that we can all agree are wrong. But when you get in that subjective territory, there's things that you could say to one person that person finds hateful, but you could say to another person that they don't find hateful. Again, mostly it's just going against the left's narrative. They don't like that, so they're going to censor it. So this is mainly directed at commentary about transgender issues. And if you know anything about that, which we talked about here on the Bald Brad Show, that is pretty much a progressive left issue where the Democrat Party is now absorbing that issue as well and going along with it. And we see that from the White House itself, which has put out statements about transgender ideology, castrating children, mutilating them, giving them gender-affirming care, which goes along with that same pathway. There have been more than 200 violations in the past few months, he added. Accounts for Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, Michael Knowles, Andrew Klavan, Brett Cooper, and Jordan Peterson have all received violations across the board. Penalties include Walsh being demonetized last month, which made headline news, and now he's posted his show on Twitter. Owens and Knowles being suspended for 7 days after receiving a second strike, and Peterson getting his first strike. 3 strikes in 90 days, and an account gets deleted, Boring noted. That's a hit. Everyone knew the truth then, just like everyone knows men are not women, Boring said. YouTube only does more damage the longer it keeps its finger on the scales. Not wrong. It is amazing that we're even having this conversation. 1, about censorship, but 2, about the fact that men are men and women are women. I mean, let that sink in. You're not talking about some mind-blowing philosophical conversation here. That's just objective reality and something that's been truth for like all of human history. And we're sitting there silencing people because they say a man can't be a woman can't be a man, which is true. It's insane. It's insane the time we're living in. The Daily Wire has taken a firm line against the radical transgender craze, especially when it comes to minors being subjected to irreversible, chemical, and even surgical treatments. I've said this time and time again. Every conservative Republican says this time and time again. Do we care in totality about the issue of LGBTQ transgenderism? Not really. For us that are real liberals about this, is you do your own thing as an adult. You just don't affect us. You leave me alone. I leave you alone, and we go on our merry way. But you're targeting our children on every facet and every front of life. Movies, the newspaper, media, in the classroom, at home, through whatever other mechanisms out there. And that's where the core issue is. If you stop targeting the children, a lot of this will go away. It will always still be an issue because a lot of people don't agree with the idea of you mutilating yourself due to some sort of psychological issue that we all hope that you can get help and treatment for. But lopping off your genitals usually isn't the best idea, in my opinion. But again, it's your life. You can do what you want with it. But again, I don't think you should be targeting children. When they turn 18 of age, then, hey, make all the decisions you want. But it's insane to me that they want a 3-year-old to determine their gender and their sex, and they go, well, I think I should have puberty and hormone enhancements or whatever they want to get. When they're freaking eating Elmer's glue at school, can't color in between the lines, can't walk across the street, can't even do their homework appropriately. But yeah, sure, make a life-altering decision. That's real smart. During discussions with YouTube, Boring said the video platform's policy team, quote, claims they want to be a place where we can debate this issue, but virtually every time we discuss it, we receive these violations. So they say one thing and do another. How shocking from the left. YouTube has a broad audience. Over 25% of the US population gets their news from the platform. And the Daily Wire is one of the largest news brands in that space, Boring said. To highlight that reach, Boring said the Daily Wire associated accounts have over 157 million views on YouTube just last week, which equates to well over 20 million views a day. That's insane. That's insane in a good way. Though Boring predicted YouTube will eventually come around on the transgender debate, like it and other social media platforms did with policies governing posts about COVID and election issues, a reversal might come too late. So basically saying, hey, there were certain things you couldn't say about COVID that now you can say today. The very things that conservatives and Republicans were saying literally during COVID ended up being truth because they were truth at the time and they're truth now. And all of a sudden the left just wakes up to and going, oh God, now it's socially acceptable. Now we could say that type of stuff. That's really what it's going to come down to. And that's really what Boring's saying here. Yet, we are on the verge of losing access to the platform, Boring warned, which is why they created Daily Wire Space in the first place. I've been a long-time fan of the Daily Wire. I was following the Daily Wire when they were in Jeremy Boring's pool house, and I was getting my questions read by Ben Shapiro because there wasn't many of us in the chat, many of us following the Daily Wire at that time. I mean, there was like wood planks in the background. His show only used to be like 10 minutes long. It was not these hour-long podcasts. It used to only be like 10, 15-minute segments back then. Well, sharing a screenshot from a YouTube blog post that touts open political discourse being, quote, core to a functioning democratic society, or in question whether the platform is, quote, too beholden to other powers. For unfettered debate, he highlighted large shareholders in Alphabet Inc., the parent company of YouTube and Google, specifically tagging the Vanguard Group and BlackRock. YouTube will have to check with them, Boring quipped. If you guys want to do some serious side research that's going to make your head spin and blow your mind, look at Vanguard Group and BlackRock and how much basically they have their tentacles into everything. It's wild the amount of shares that they have in certain companies and banks and corporations. Your head's gonna, it sounds like literally a conspiracy theory, but when you start doing a deep dive in this stuff, there's a lot, I think, good talk about maybe splitting those companies up. There's a lot of power in Vanguard and BlackRock. A lot of power that's going to affect you and I big time. And usually I like to leave corporations alone, but there's some serious issues with that, and that has to be for a whole nother video. We'll think about doing it sometime in the future here because there's some research I'd have to pull up, a lot of websites and stuff to read from, but good God, y'all, it's crazy. YouTube did not immediately return a request seeking comment on the thread. The Daily Wire has positioned itself as a champion of free speech, challenging social media companies not to suppress the discussion of ideas, particularly in the debate over transgenderism, but it has become an uphill battle in some spheres. This struggle took center stage at basically on Twitter a little more than a week ago, and this made headline news after Boring announced that the Daily Wire Plus shows would be streamed on social media platform amid a cancellation blitz against a conservative media company's podcast hosts. So this got in the realm of What is a Woman with Matt Walsh going to not premiere it on Twitter, but basically release it for free for everybody to see on Twitter, and it kind of had some issues. So the groundbreaking documentary in which Walsh asks the tough questions underlying the gender ideology movement, which was a documentary posted on Twitter on June 1st, the first day of Pride Month. The platform initially labeled the post as hateful conduct and restricted its visibility because of 2 instances of supposed misgendering. I reacted to Matt Walsh's trailer to What is a Woman, and it got removed off YouTube. When it first came out, I reacted to it, it got removed. Not only, to tell you the extent of it, not only did I fix every single issue that YouTube wanted me to fix so that I could have it up, because it was getting like thousands of views. I fixed every single issue, and they still removed it. They still removed it for the exact same reason, hateful and derogatory. That's why you don't see it anymore. It's there. It's there. It was pulled. So it's still in the catalog, but you won't be able to see it on your end. This is stuff we deal with behind the scenes. And now you see why I highlighted that comment a couple days ago, and nothing against Ellen, because she just misunderstood. But the idea that people think I delete other people's comments, I am such an advocate for free speech. I think you should be able to say whatever the hell you want to say, regardless of whether you're a psycho or not. I think you should be able to say whatever you want to say on any platform. I could disagree with it all I want, but you have the right to say it. And I will actually champion your right to say it. But the progressive left won't do that. The Democrat Party won't do that. Oh, no. They say they do. I mean, the Democrat Party, if you look at Kennedy today, even Kennedy, right? Actual John Kennedy or Robert Kennedy, if you look at that type of Democrat, that is more probably in line almost with a centrist conservative right side thinking nowadays. So the Kennedy that you see today that's running against Joe Biden, the one that's being censored himself by the Democrat Party, shows you how far left the Democrat Party, the progressive left have gotten. But they'll say the same thing about us. Doesn't make sense to me, but somehow it makes sense to them. There's a lot of things that are crazy that make sense to them, don't make sense to anybody else. Like a man is a woman and a woman is a man. So again, fierce backlash to the censorship ensued overnight, led by small accounts and prominent figures alike, including those belonging to Walsh and Boring. Many question whether Twitter 2.0, under owner Elon Musk, was truly the free speech platform they promised. Outrage grew until the restrictions were lifted, and Musk himself promoted the video and the film the following morning, retweeting the post and encouraging parents to watch. That tweet garnered more than 180 million views, folks. Insane stuff. Boring's thread on Sunday came on the heels of Peterson, a Daily Wire Plus contributor. Jordan Peterson's awesome, by the way. If you haven't read his books, 12 Rules for Life, the both of them, absolutely amazing. I've heard his other book, Maps of Meaning, I believe it's called, is one of the hardest books Ben Shapiro's ever read. That's at least what he said. I haven't read it myself. I want to pick it up, but again, that's for a whole another time. Revealing on Saturday that YouTube had removed a video in which he had authored Helen Joyce discuss gender ideology for allegedly violating the platform's hate speech policy. Here you go. I mean, anytime you bring up transgender, it's just hate speech, right? Oh my God, it's hate speech. It's like, come on, man. Come on. In a series of tweets, Peterson said, "To say I am tired of being accused in this manner by narcissistic authoritarians is to say almost nothing." He ended up posting the full video to Twitter at Musk's behest. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about Musk going, hey, you know what? Turn Twitter into what it is, but turn Twitter also into a video platform. And I think that's kind of where it's going, where you have Daily Wire moving over there. You have Tucker Carlson doing his show on there. A lot of people are already on Twitter. It's already there. You could do it. And I think you're going to slowly see Twitter kind of evolve into a Rumble, YouTube, social media platform here, where people are just going to post on there because they know they're not going to get their stuff taken down. And that's a good move for Elon Musk to do because he's struggling here in terms of advertisements. And now you can inject advertisements the same way that YouTube does and capitalize on that. So, and we all know that they're moving that direction because of the hiring process, or in terms of who they hired there at Twitter, to basically promote the idea of advertising on their platform to make it bigger, to make it stronger, and ultimately make more money. So there you have it. Daily Wire, it goes a little bit further here with them targeting Candace Owens, which is the most recent event, Michael Knowles, again, just for talking pure truth. And it's not hateful or derogatory. You just don't like it. And because you don't like it, you think things should be censored. That's a scary environment. That is some George Orwell 1984 type material. That is some Maoist, China, like socialist, quasi-communist thinking. I don't think people should be censored. But let us know. Again, the question of the day is, do you think conservatives and Republicans, and I guess some Democrats too, if you look at Kennedy, he's being censored. Do you think that the progressive left and big tech are going to start censoring us more now that the 2024 election is right around the corner? Would love your opinion in the comment section below. Well, moving into our next story of the day, we got Lindsey Graham here going after, and kind of, I don't want to say going after Hillary Clinton, but that's kind of what he's doing. But he's backing Donald Trump up, and he's getting a little bit spicy on this show here called ABC This Week. And I love the guy here in terms of him pushing back. And you'll see that he gets a little bit feisty. We do have the clip here in just one moment. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Go to baldbrad.com. Check out our merch, folks. We'd love your support in any which way possible. Well, Lindsey Graham, in the latest Donald Trump surrogate to lash out against the Justice Department's double standard after indicating the former president, but admits that he did do things wrong with handling classified materials. Everybody agrees that what Donald Trump did was wrong. Like, I don't understand, like, where's like the conversation here of, yes, everybody understands that he did something wrong, but that's not the issue. The issue is the double standard that we're seeing from the justice system, where somebody will do the exact same thing or maybe even worse, and nothing happens to them. But then when the right side of the aisle, conservative Republicans, do something wrong, then it's just bringing down the whole force, the whole entire government upon that one person, bringing in the IRS, going after their business dealings, looking in their underwear drawer, raiding their homes. I mean, it's thing after thing, indictment after indictment, where you have the Democrats and the left going, oh, well, it's okay. It's okay until it happens to you. You just opened up a door that will never be closed again, because what's going to happen now is you're going to have Republicans in office at one point that are going to go after your guy. They're going to go after Obama, which there's a lot of conversation about going after Obama. If you haven't read The People vs. Barack Obama by Ben Shapiro, who's a lawyer, going after him, showing the stuff that he committed, that is a book to read, folks, because boy, oh boy, does he expose Barack Obama. If you want to read the works of Trey Gowdy and Jason Chaffetz, both congressmen at the time of Benghazi and other fiascos going on, Trey Gowdy has a great book. Doesn't talk much about his stuff in Benghazi, but you can look it up online. Check out Jason Chaffetz's book called The Deep State. That one's going to flip you out because that talks about Obama's time as well. There's a lot of stuff here, folks, to really deep dive into, but we're covering here is Lindsey Graham's interview and just the double standard from the justice system. Let's go ahead and roll it.
We are joined now by Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who's endorsed Donald Trump for president in 2024. Senator Graham, thank you for joining us this morning. Donald Trump has said repeatedly that he did nothing wrong. Do you believe that?
Well, here's what I believe. We live in an America where if you're the Democratic candidate for president, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, you can set up a private server in your basement to conduct government business. And when an investigation is had about your activity, no, let me finish.
But you didn't answer the question.
That was ridiculous. Well, yeah, I'm trying to answer the question from a Republican point of view. That may not be acceptable on this show. Yes, I don't like what President Trump did in certain aspects. I don't like that Joe Biden had classified information on the garage. I don't like that Mike Pence carelessly took classified information. I don't like any of that. But what I don't like is a system in America where the Secretary of State, who's a Democratic candidate for president, has people take a hammer to social media devices and break them apart, apply bleach bit to a hard drive to erase emails, allow classified information to get on a felon's computer, Anthony Weiner. You haven't even mentioned that. Most Republicans believe we live in a country where Hillary Clinton did very similar things and nothing happened to her. President Trump will have his day in court, but espionage charges are absolutely ridiculous. Whether you like Trump or not, he did not commit espionage. He did not disseminate, leak, or provide information to a foreign power or to a news organization to damage this country. He is not a spy. He's overcharged. Did he do things wrong? Yes, he may have. He will be tried about that, but Hillary Clinton wasn't. Your old boss committed perjury in a civil lawsuit, lost his law license, obstructed justice in a dozen ways, and he didn't get prosecuted. I know,
and he was impeached. Well,
Senator, okay, he was impeached, but he wasn't prosecuted.
You've made.
Damn, dude, Lindsey Graham came out ready. Dude, he came out ready to freaking go on that. Oh my God, I love how he got fired up at the beginning too. I'm kind of a read in the wind with Lindsey Graham. There's things that I really like that he says and does, and there's other things I'm like, just please shut up, man. But you know, hey, you can't agree with everybody says. I'm sure there's things I've said on here that you don't agree with, but hell, we're a community nonetheless. We got to love each other and go along with it. So here, the DOJ, as it was mentioned before, unsealed. So before it was sealed, now it's unsealed. A 49-page indictment on Friday. Jeez, it's early, folks. Give me a break here. With 37 counts against Trump, including 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information under the Espionage Act. What a freaking stretch. This is very similar to what you had with that other knucklehead, Alvin Bragg, trying to push things through even though it doesn't meet the statute of limitations and kind of do some foo-foo stuff in terms of where Donald Trump was at for a extended length of period of time. It's just silly what they're doing. They're folks, we all see it, okay? I understand you know this, but we all see what they're doing here. They're manipulating, they're stretching things as far as they can to sit there and get this guy locked up because that's what they want to see. Pictures were also released showing the storage of classified materials in boxes around Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. Look, so were the pictures of Joe Biden years ago driving out of his garage with his Corvette. Okay, the boxes are in the back. Trump will appear in a Miami court on Tuesday afternoon and has already said he will, of course, plead not guilty. There's also a conversation here, again, not just about the Hillary Clinton thing. Everybody, I would say, would think even at the time, even I was like this, like, yeah, she should be like at least prosecuted for this, right? I mean, this isn't a good thing. If she was prosecuted for what she did, okay, and then you have it kind of unravel out to other people, that would be justified. But I would also like to point out, Donald Trump was president. So there's a huge thing that he can utilize, and we'll get to it with Vivek Ramaswamy in the third segment here as to what nobody's talking about. I'm gonna set that up. I'm gonna wait here, kind of let it marinate a little bit in terms of what we're going towards here. But there's a good case, which Vivek Ramaswamy and others are making, that Donald Trump not only was president, but he can have those classified documents. According to the act itself, he can have those classified documents. Now, the difference between him and Joe Biden is Joe Biden had documents from when he wasn't president. There's also we don't know because nobody wants to investigate the thing. There's an idea that there was a period of time in which he was not in Congress and that he wasn't vice president. So there's a period of time which he had classified documents that he should never have had classified documents in the first place, according to any law. So there's so many differences here, from Hillary Clinton being Secretary of State, having a server in her bathroom, giving documents out there, and even though she used bleach bit on the thing, folks, that's only bleach bit on her side of the server, by the way, in emails. There's people out there in the ether that have the emails that were sent to them on behalf of Hillary Clinton. So there's people out there living today that could sit there and actually go after Hillary Clinton. But we all know what happens when you go after Hillary Clinton, right? You wind up 6 feet into the ground and nobody ever hears from you again. So again, Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, should not have done what she did, didn't get prosecuted. Joe Biden, in Congress, vice president, or hell, none of the in-between, has classified documents for decades, nothing happens to him. Donald Trump, actual president, has classified documents, strong case that he is allowed to have those documents, nothing happens. Barack Obama had documents, strong case he's president, can have those documents, so it's linear, it goes both ways. Mike Pence, on the other hand, what are you doing? You're not president, you're vice president, what are you doing having documents? So it has to be all linear. We can't sit there and jump and pick and look at a buffet like, oh, this is good, I want this one because it's Hillary Clinton. Oh, that one's really good because that's Barack Obama, I want that one. Well, I don't like that one because that one's Trump. No. We have to be linear here. So there's a strong case, Barack Obama, Donald Trump are good. Joe Biden, Mike Pence, probably not so much. Another case of, how about you just don't prosecute any of them because it's never happened before, especially a sitting president. I mean, you are opening up a doorway that is not good. But I want to know what you all think here. Do you agree with this, or do you disagree with it? Do you think Donald Trump should be prosecuted? Do you think Donald Trump should be put behind bars, whether it's Alvin Bragg or now in Miami with, was it Jack Smith or whatever the guy's name is? Let me know in the comment section below. Moving into our last segment of the day, we're giving the man a spotlight because, dude, this guy is a front runner here for the Republican Party, folks. Not front runner like in terms of before Trump and DeSantis, but he's up there in the top 3 easily. Vivek Ramaswamy, folks. Vivek Ramaswamy here, running for president, talks about Trump indictment. This guy's smart. If you want a solid ticket, a really solid ticket, I think these are going to be the 2 tickets. I think you're going to have Trump, so Donald Trump, Kari Lake, and you want to really, and this one might tug at me. This would be hard. A DeSantis Ramaswamy ticket. Let me know what you would go for. Trump, Lake, DeSantis, Ramaswamy. Both really strong tickets. I mean, really strong tickets. The difference is you get kind of the feistiness and maybe a lot of the personality from Trump that we could probably bring down a little bit with the Trump Lake ticket, versus DeSantis. You still get the kind of the Trumpy aspect of him, but Ramaswamy is strong, man. I mean, that guy is strong. You'll hear it right now. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks, if you haven't already.
Welcome back to State of the Union. Most of the Republicans running against former President Trump defended him after his indictment this week, but only one has gone as far as my next guest. Here with me now is Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for joining me. So before you heard any details of the allegations in the Trump indictment, you put out a statement saying if you become president, you would pardon Donald Trump on day one. Now you've seen the allegations, and you've seen that he stored highly classified information like nuclear secrets and others in unsecured areas of his country club. Given everything that you've seen, do you stand by your promise to pardon him if he's convicted?
Reading that indictment and looking at the selective omissions of both fact and law, Dana, I'm even more convinced that a pardon is the right answer here.
Why?
The top question actually we should be asking is, what did Biden tell Merrick Garland? What did Merrick Garland tell Jack Smith? Because what I see in that document is deeply politicized. Not a single mention of the Presidential Records Act, the most relevant.
That's exactly what I was talking about in segment 2, right there. Nobody's talking about that. The media does not want to talk about it because it vilifies Donald Trump. That's why.
Relevant statute to the actual alleged crime here. Selective statements from President Trump's statements on the campaign trail in 2016 about classification and how he'd treat it, without one mention of the fact that he actually, after he was elected in 2016, said he would not prosecute Hillary Clinton and would not want to see her prosecuted. And by the way, no one's mentioned this yet. This was what stood out to me. The classification scheme itself was defined not by statute, but by executive order, which is interesting because executive orders, appellate courts have held, do not bind a U.S. president with the force of law. So this is selective prosecution. I think it's irresponsible not to have included any treatment of those facts or law in this indictment. It reeks of politicization, which is why I want to go back to the top question that the media actually should be asking. What did Biden tell Garland? What did Garland tell Jack Smith? That's what you need to be getting to the bottom of.
That's a great question. We're going to continue in just one moment. I want to kind of feel like, see, a lot of these people just throw stuff at you without kind of giving the background of what's been taking place. This has been a conversation. The White House is saying that Joe Biden has not talked to Merrick Garland whatsoever. That's what's being said, because they're trying to separate the two. I don't know. The White House has lied a lot, man. I have a hard time really believing that. I think there is a politicization right now of the Department of Justice, the FBI, as well as the IRS that's going against their political opponents, but also going after conservative Republicans. That's what I think, and I think a lot of you agree with that statement as well. I think everybody sees it.
The White House insists that he has absolutely no connection to this, that the whole reason the special counsel was put in place is to take it out of politics. But I want to read something. I want to read something that Bill Barr, President Trump's own attorney general, said just this morning on another network. He said, quote, "If even half of it is true," speaking of the indictment, "then he's toast. It is a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning." This is the former president's own former attorney general.
I think we have to be able to draw a distinction between bad judgments. I would not have made the judgments that President Trump made. It's a big part of why I'm in this race, is I think that I would have made different judgments than Trump made.
What would you have done differently?
Well, I would not have taken those documents with me, and I would have returned them on demand, because that would have actually set up for a much more constructive discussion. But there's a difference between a bad judgment and breaking the law. And when especially the federal police apparatus conflates the two, that's a threat to liberty for everyone, not just President Trump, but every American, where every misjudgment is treated as a violation of law. What really matters is the relevant law, including, by the way, how Judge Jackson interpreted the Presidential Records Act in 2012 in the Clinton sock drawer case. Not a single mention of the most relevant statute in that document means that indictment is a politicized document. That's why I want to get back to the bottom of the politics behind it, and we need transparency there.
God, he's good.
According to the indictment,
he's good.
Quote, "The classified documents Trump stored in his boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack." So we are talking about very, very sensitive information, which, again, Trump allegedly stored in a bathroom, ballroom, in his bedroom. Is that more than just bad judgment?
It's very bad judgment, no doubt about it.
So you do have issues with that?
I do, if those allegations are true. By the way, the reason we have a court of law is, and I am personally deeply skeptical of everything in that indictment, so I will not believe it until we actually see it aired in a court of law. And the reason I don't believe it, Dana, is the selective omission of a bunch of other facts that should have been in that indictment. A treatment of a bunch of other statutes that are relevant to this alleged crime that were mentioned nowhere, that I personally have no faith whatsoever in those vague allegations. So if those are true, yes, I think that's reflective of very bad judgment. I'm skeptical that it even is true. But the bottom line is we cannot conflate a bad judgment with a violation of the law.
And
that's what it's at.
And we should note, as you know, when an indictment is, in order to get an indictment, it has to be approved by a grand jury.
What they taught us in law school is that you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich.
Just on principle, just on.
I love that. Oh, I tell you guys, he's good. You're telling me DeSantis Ramaswamy ticket isn't going to be strong? DeSantis is like a Trump 2.0. I mean, Trump's now a 2.5, but you understand what I'm saying. You get a lot of Trump in DeSantis without maybe saying the knucklehead things all the time. I love Trump. Probably vote for him again. But I'm just saying, man, this guy is really strong here. And he's taking a bunch of things and combining them together, going like, this is just a wrong thing to do. He gets in a little bit of dicey territory here. And I think the way he's going to get away with the argument in terms of Hillary Clinton by just saying, well, it's just misjudgment. It's misjudgment to have bleach bits, misjudgment to, break cell phones and other things with hammers when she was Secretary of the State. The difference is she wasn't president. She was Secretary of State. Donald Trump was president. And that's backed up by the act that he was talking about before.
In principle, do you think it would be a mistake for the Republican Party to nominate somebody who is facing serious federal criminal charges?
Look, I'm in this race to win this race because I think we need to move forward as a country. I think we go forward with the agenda if we're grounded in first principles and moral authority. That's why I'm in this race. But that's not for you or I or certainly the Federal Administrative Police State to decide. That's for the people of this country to decide.
Federal Administrative Police State? That's pretty strong.
That's exactly what's at work here, right? You have a federal administrative state. The police arm of that state is for the first time in U.S. history not only indicting a former president, but indicting currently a lead candidate against the U.S. president. That is not the stuff of the United States of America. That is the stuff of banana republics.
Well,
and if there was ever going to be a case brought against a lead political rival for a sitting U.S. president, it better be locked down and airtight, not an indictment that fails to mention the most relevant statute that's actually at issue.
Yeah, well, it is, obviously, as you said, it is unprecedented. I should say that there have been democracies that have prosecuted, put criminal prosecution of former leaders because those times have been so extraordinary.
And here in the middle of an election.
And this obviously is very extraordinary.
Did she just rub you the wrong way? I mean, this is CNN, so obviously it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. But do you notice here? She's pulling out, oh, well, this is what was in the classified documents. There was at least 4 or 5 sets of classified documents found all around Joe Biden. Literally, Joe Biden went to another country and they were finding documents in the street, you guys. That's not a joke. That really happened. So in the midst of all these classified documents being strewn out everywhere, he goes, I think it was Ireland, and they're finding classified documents lying in the street of Ireland. Read that one up. It's head spinning. It's not really Joe Biden's fault necessarily. It's more of Ireland's fault, but that's a whole nother story. The whole idea here is they're not calling out anything for Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton on what they had on her server or he had in his house or in his boxes in the garage. You know, it's everything Trump. It's such, I gotta watch my language. It's BS.
I disagree with the allegations. I just think I do not believe those allegations because of, I think, the intellectual dishonesty in that indictment. So I think the federal court is actually, I think, based on the precedent of the Clinton sock drawer case, where effectively Judge Jackson said that it is at the president's, her language, not mine, sole discretion as to what is and is not covered as a presidential record. I think the court will acquit him. But that's beside the point of the judgment that President Biden made. And if Trump's judgment was bad, President Biden's judgment is worse for actually bringing a prosecution. He should have done what Trump did.
President Biden didn't bring a prosecution.
The Department of Justice reports into the President of the United States, and so this is a fig leaf, which is why I think the media needs to get to the bottom of this.
But there's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence, unless you can show me some, that President Biden has had anything to do with this prosecution. That's why he put 2 layers in between with the special
due respect, I think it is shameful that I, as a competitor to President Trump in this race, have to ask questions that the media isn't asking. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're seeing the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
No.
Ask the question. Get to the bottom of what Biden told Garland and what Garland told Jack Smith.
Damn.
If the same shoe fit the other foot, you would not take their word at face value. Do not take their word now. Get to the bottom of it. Let's actually restore journalism in this country. That's what's actually missing, is getting to the truth.
Okay. Thank you for that. We are absolutely asking these questions.
Damn. I'm getting goosebumps, folks. I'm getting all riled up in here because this guy is just laying down the law. She's no match for the guy. I mean, I don't think Trump and DeSantis honestly are gonna be a match for this guy. This guy's on top of it, man. I love him. Oh man, he's good.
Good.
And we know how to be good journalists because we do it every single day.
This is CNN saying. It's CNN saying that, really? Come on. Don Lemon, Brian Stelter, reliable sources. Oh, yeah, sure. I don't know how he's not laughing right now.
Last question is, on the fundamentals, do you believe that Donald Trump should be above the law, or should he be held to the same standard as every citizen in this country?
Every citizen in this country is held and should be held to the same standard. That includes Joe Biden. That includes Hillary Clinton. That includes Mike Pence. That includes me. That includes every citizen across this country. What we're seeing here, though, is a selective prosecution.
Correct.
And there's a difference between Donald Trump when he left office as president versus Joe Biden, who is a U.S. senator,
Couldn't it be true
or Hillary Clinton, who's a Secretary of State, none of whom are covered by the Presidential Records Act.
Couldn't it be true that it's not so much as selective prosecution? It's just that the allegations of what Donald Trump did is just different and allegedly much more egregious than what we've seen anywhere else?
There are a few things that are just different about the presidency, and we have to accept that we have this as law in this country, Dana. And if you don't like the law, we should change the law. But the law says there's a Presidential Records Act that specifically gives U.S. presidents jurisdiction and authority over deciding what is and isn't a presidential record. And executive orders bind the rest of the country. That's the classification scheme. They don't bind the U.S. president. Again, these are questions for the courts. So I'm not substituting my opinion for the judgment of the court.
Right.
But I'm saying the fact that those distinctions did not even appear in this indictment to me, reek of politicization, which is why I am deeply skeptical of the face value claim that the White House wasn't involved. That's what I want to get to the bottom of.
Vivek Ramaswamy, candidate for the Republican nomination. Thank you for your time, sir.
Man, he's good, folks. Can you just see her there, though? He just got done saying the media is rubbing the shoulders and kissing the feet of Joe Biden, the Democrat Party, and have been doing so for decades. And that you need to ask hardball questions. You actually need to go in there to see, hey, what was said from Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, and Merrick Garland, Jack Smith? What was said about all that? And you don't want to do it. He literally looked at you straight in the eyes, lady, and you're like, well, isn't his case a little bit more egregious than Joe Biden's? Not really, because Joe Biden was in Congress and had classified documents. He was vice president and had classified documents under which he shouldn't have had. He's not allowed to have. Then you had Hillary Clinton have a server in her freaking bathroom, lady, and you're going to sit there, oh, his case is a little bit different. I don't know about that. I mean, bleach spitting and breaking cell phones with hammers and whatnot. I don't know. I don't think so. And she was Secretary of State. And again, there was a case in which Joe Biden wasn't vice president and he wasn't in Congress and had classified documents. I don't think as citizens, we're allowed to have classified documents. If you were in the military, part of the intelligence community, and you had classified documents at your home, why don't you write in the chat on what's going to happen to you? Because boy, oh boy, it ain't going to end up how Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, all the others did stuff that they did. It's going to end up real different for you because there is a difference. And you're seeing it right now happen in real time. There is a difference. There's a difference between what was done with Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and now Donald Trump. They're targeting conservatives. They're targeting Republicans, which is the question of the day. Now that 2024 is around the corner, do you think censorship, do you think targeting conservative Republicans are going to ramp up here? Because I think so. Vivek Ramaswamy is here defending not just the former president, but conservative Republicans. He is a great man. I hope he gets a run here at VP because he's not going to win, but I would love him linked up with even Donald Trump or DeSantis. Let me know what you think about that all in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Go to baldbrad.com, pick yourself up a coffee mug here, folks. They're $15, but they'll last you forever here unless you break it or drop it or throw it against the wall because you're listening to some knucklehead like Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, which would be respectable. Just go ahead and buy another one. We have a book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Would love you to buy it. You're seeing it in real time with Joe Biden, but hell, this goes back a few years as well in terms of what the Democrat Party has done in conjunction with the progressive left in destroying this country from the inside out. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. If you want a signed copy, baldbrad.com has it for you. We got merch. We got everything you need at the links in the description. And folks, I will see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.